So today we're going to be changing the front wheel brakes on a Honda Odyssey Touring Elite 2014. First thing we got to do is be safe and put these wheel chucks behind the rear tires. All right, the next step is jacking up the car. So we need to figure out where to position the jack properly to do this, as a wrong position can cause damage or safety hazards. So if you look here, you got this little loop of metal. It's right where we want to put the jack. All right, so we got the jack in position. Gave it just a little hair of a lift, but we don't want to lift the tires off the ground yet, as we need them to still have traction on the ground so that when we take the lug nuts off, the tires don't spin. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to remove those lug nuts. All right, we have the car jacked up just a hair. Still on the ground though. I got the lug nut key for the special lug nut that comes with the vehicle. So you can use your breaker bar. You're going to use this impact hammer. It's a lot quicker and easier to use. All right, now we jack the car up off the ground so we can take the tire off. All right, we have the car jacked up. We got to put our jack stands under to hold the car, as you don't want to rely on just the jack, as it can fail and cause a lot of damage to the car and injuries. So this is the position the jack stands need to be in. Right towards the front of the door. Underneath, you can see the bar that sticks down. Just line it up in there. Make sure you're on a flat, even surface. And then once they're in position, you slowly lower the jack down so the car rests on these stands. All right. Everything's in place, so now we'll take the tire off and see what we have underneath. All right, so we have our rotor, which might look different than yours, as this isn't the one that came with the vehicle. We upgraded it. Have the caliper, that's where the brake pads are inside. So we need to loosen the top and bottom bolt that's here. There's some other ones, but we don't touch those. That's 14 millimeters. So get the socket and little turn. Get it by hand now. Same thing here. Get it on. And get it by hand and okay. All right, so once those are unscrewed, this piece, not this top part where the screw is bolted into, this piece just kind of wiggles right off. Take it off, set it up there, and here we are. Brake pad, brake pad. All right, so we're going to be replacing these with these Duralast Max pads that we got from AutoZone for, I believe, 56 bucks. Lifetime warranty. So inside, gel, little clips, 4 pads, as each tire takes 2. Okay, so to take the brake pads off, it's pretty simple. It has these two little bars. You do want to save these, as it's probably the only piece that doesn't come with the new brakes, top and bottom, so we'll reuse them. And the brakes, the pads, they pretty much just pop right out, and like that. All these little metal tabs down here we'll be replacing. So pop them off. Alright, this next step, I recommend it being done, is to clean the brake parts. Just get some brake cleaner and you spray. You can spray little, a lot. If it's really dirty, you can use a clean cloth and wipe it down. Otherwise, you can just let it air dry, and it just eats away the crud. You can see it's melting away. Alright, so in preparation for putting new pads on, the new pads are thicker than the ones we took off, as the old ones got worn down. The pistons that compress the brake pads, they come out over time as more compression is needed, and so we have to push these back in. This car has two, some vehicles maybe just one, and as it has two, we need them to be even so the pads press with equal force on the pad. So you can use a piece of wood, some hard long object right here. Just got the handle, wrench, got this little tool that makes it really easy, that we'll press it on there, turn, and it's going to get pretty difficult. As we do it, those pistons will slowly move back in. Okay, the next step is to replace these clips. There's 4, as each side takes 2. They're all identical, so it doesn't matter where they go. Just line them up. They're shaped properly. Push them down, and they go in place. After that, you're going to want to put a little bit of the grease that came with them. You're going to want to put it on here, as that's where the pads are going to slide. So, let's do that. That's a lot. Okay, so we got some grease on. Applied just a little bit of grease on the back side of the pads. So these are specific kind of to the side. So for the inside, we want the metal bar up to the top. Curve matches the curve of the tire. So what it is. Okay, pads are on. Easy way to get them on. You got to get the pad underneath the bar. So put the back side in first, and then it should just lay down and push in. We got these bars that we took off before. They will kind of push the brake pads out. So kind of got to hold them back down in place while you do it, or it'll push brake pads right off, as you can tell. It's trying. So after this, take caliper. I'm gonna put it back on top. Push the little bolts down, back in place. Then we're going to put a little anti-seize gel back on these bolts before we put them in. That's optional. So I said anti-seize, I meant thread locker. We got our blue type. Just put a little strip on there. You don't got to paint it all around. It'll spread as you turn the screw in. So do that. We'll do it on both. All right, getting lazy. We're going to do this with a little power. Check this again. All right, it's tight. Just a final tighten. That little nut right there will turn. So we're gonna hold it and just check. If you go back a few seconds, you'll notice when I put the caliper back on, this cord was twisted a little bit. So I had to take it back off and flip it over so it wasn't bent and kinked. So at this point, we just put the tire back on. Put the tire on, put the lug nuts back on, tighten them, kind of a star pattern, one opposite of the other. And now we go to the other side and just repeat the whole process the same way. All right, now that both tires are back on and secured, we got to get rid of the jack stand, so we'll jack the car back up so we can pull them out. All right, now that the stands are out, we'll lower the jack. And we'll remove the chucks. And then we'll test drive it.